And it is my absolute pleasure, absolutely, to bring on my dear sister, who is a vital member of the EntreMusician community. And she is one of the most prolific songwriters I've heard in the last 6 or 7 years. Now, what we've done, Linda, not to embarrass you, but just to let them in on what happens in the background at the EntreMusician community, is we call her songs the man-hating songs.
That's okay.
So first and foremost, and I know that you've done a full podcast episode with Nanette in the past, but could you tell the rest of us why we have chosen to call your songs man-hating songs?
Well, there was a time in my life when I went through some tough times,
Hmm.
and I wasn't too fond of a certain individual who shall remain nameless.
Right?
And that certain individual inspired some songs that,
Mhm.
I was angry when I wrote them. So, and
No
I was
kidding.
hurt as well. So that's where I got that title, if you
Yeah.
will. Yes,
And interestingly enough, we all, us men, have to pay the price for whatever. Because it comes out raw and transparent. But I think that that's what gives real energy to those particular songs. You don't write all your songs are not based on that experience, but
that's right. That's right.
certainly the ones that you've chosen to play in the Entre Musician.
Well, I certainly sing them with conviction.
You do. Oh my goodness. Fantastic. So, what would you call your sound? Do you have a name that you call it? I mean, because it embodies so many different genres to me. Do you have like it's the Linda Raine sound? What do you call it? How do
I
you
call
describe
it,
it?
I call it, well, that music, the man hitting songs, I would call rock contemporary.
Okay.
But more recently, I wrote a country song.
Hmm.
My parents have always wanted me to write country and to perform country. They always thought I had a country voice, but I'm not sure everybody agrees with them. I mean, I the guys in the band that I was in really loved my rock conviction songs.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
You have that touch of Janis Joplin in you. You have that power that you can have it restrained, but then when the hook comes, you just boom, it just you belt it out. It's fantastic. So tell me, are you gigging in Canada?
no, I'm not gigging at this time. No, no.
But you
The
do you
I would
plan on it?
say that the extent of my music these days is limited to the entree musician. I mean, um, the only people I think the only way that I'll play live is if I play live via YouTube
Okay,
at
that's
this
cool.
time. I mean,
That's
if
cool.
I wanted to go out and get some gigs,
Yeah.
I think I probably could.
Mhm.
There's a lot of wineries around where I live, and they have live entertainment.
Yeah.
And there is bars as well, but I think I'd be lean more towards the wineries. And then we have an annual folk festival here every year as well.
Hmm.
And something I've thought about that I haven't done is there is a local songwriting association
Yeah.
here, and I've thought about joining them, but I haven't as of yet.
I see.
And if I did that, I'm sure that would open more doors as far as live performing is concerned.
Absolutely. Well, your writing is incredible. You work with a producer. What's his name? Because he's setting you up with some excellent tracks.
His name is Roberto Phillip, and he's based out of Toronto. And his fiance, Cynthia Knight, also produces with him, and she's a really, really talented pianist, and he's a talented guitar player, as you've heard in my tracks.
Yeah, yeah. Very good stuff. Absolutely. Now, you've sent me a few, but because this is not your only, won't be your only time here, I took the liberty of choosing one, and it's
Okay.
one I think we played it this weekend when we were on one of our calls, either Saturday or Sunday, but it's called Judgment Day. And I just love that tune. I love the way you do it, the way it's produced, the fire that's underneath it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Judgment Day? What went in first of all? I guess you told us a little bit about what may have gone into the lyrics, but as you were putting it together and, take us through that process. What happened from kind of conception to completion?
Okay, so I actually got a phone call from a friend who was really fond of this certain someone, and this certain someone tended to only call her when it was convenient for him.
Hmm.
And she would wait by the phone with bated breath for his phone calls. And that went on for quite some time, despite me trying to talk her down from that and trying to convince her otherwise, that she shouldn't be as fond of him as she was. Um, because, he'd only call her when it was convenient for him. And I guess she finally reached the point where she just had enough.
Mm.
And she reached a breaking point. And he happened to call her one day after not hearing from him for some time. And I guess he had just broken up with his significant other at the time, and caught her in a really strong moment. She basically told him, she gave him his marching orders. So that one phone call
Yeah.
with her inspired that song.
Mm.
And I just went in my bedroom in my basement apartment that I was living in at the time with my two kids. And that's where I did most of my songwriting, was in my bedroom. I'd just go in there and shut the door, and my kids knew to leave me alone unless it was urgent.
Right.
And I went in there and it just came to me. I wrote the song literally in, I think it was 2 hours.
Wow. Absolutely. So after the song was quote unquote done, meaning you and your guitar and your lyrics, then what was the process? Were you working with the same producer or what happened?
Yes, at the time I had been working with Roberto Phillip, the same producer,
Hmm.
and I took it to him. And the band used to do it with Mark Bradley, who was in my band, Diamond and the Rough, RUFF.
Uh-huh.
He produced it first.
Okay.
We did a live off the floor recording. And then I took it to my producer after that, and then he produced it as well. And there is quite a difference between the two versions, I think.
Understood. Understood. And so here we go. What year did you release Judgment Day?
It would have been 2000 and probably 2004, 2005.
Uh-huh. So what was the highest did it chart? What was the highest scale that it reached?
Unfortunately,
Billboard.
it did not chart. No.
Okay, well then that's why it needs a resurgence. So thank you for allowing us to play it here on the Entree Musician Monday Music Corner. I mean, it's a fabulous song, and so I'm grateful. I'm grateful
Thanks,
you're
Jerry.
you're in part of the community. You just bring such a mm, I wish I could describe it. It's just, okay, Linda's here. This is going to be a good a good time.
Aw, thanks, Jerry.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to tell us about the song before we put it on?
No, that's it. I think I've pretty much covered it.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Won't be your last time. We've got a lot of Linda Raine catalog to go through. So thank you for sharing with us. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Today I heard the news. You've been feeling down. It seems you've lost your forlorn lady. So now you're calling me. You're needing some sympathy. Your manly ego needs some stroking. She's gone and left your spirit broken. Well, it's no mystery how much you've meant to me. I've given and given despite your taking. I'm your therapy. You're my misery. You've come back to claim dignity, with little humility. Your image is sacredly polished but stolen. I know what you're calling for, and I won't take any more. I'm saving my womanly needs for a real man. Yes, that's what I said, a real man. It's no mystery